Welcome back, VCEers. In this video, we're looking at variables. There are four types of variables that should be considered: independent variables, dependent variables, extraneous variables, and confounding variables. Let's start with the first two. The independent variable is whatever is manipulated during a study in order to impact the dependent variable. That is, the independent variable causes the change in the dependent variable. So in a study on the effects of alcohol intake on memory, the independent variable would be the level of alcohol intake. The dependent variable, on the other hand, changes depending on the independent variable. That is, it is dependent. In the same study on alcohol intake and memory, for example, the dependent variable would be memory. And then we have extraneous and confounding variables. They are similar concepts because each have the potential to impact the dependent variable. This is something that we don't want in research. If something other than the independent variable is changing the outcome, it makes it hard to definitively assess the effects of the independent variable. Extraneous variables have the potential to influence the dependent variable. For example, imagine a study on the effects of sleep deprivation on performance of basic mental arithmetic. The participants are split into two groups, the experimental group and the control group. But the experimental group happens to be tested on a 45-degree day, whereas the control group is tested when the weather is most pleasant. Those in the experimental group may perform at an inferior level due merely to the oppressive heat, rather than due to the sleep deprivation. This is an extraneous variable, a variable that is part of the study but isn't being directly studied. But when confounding variables are present in a study, no generalizations from its results can be made. These are variables not directly part of the study, but which impact its results. For example, it would be difficult to definitively conclude that males are naturally more confident than females, or vice versa, because the social environments for males and females is quite different from birth. This social environment is a confounding variable. Here is a question relevant to extraneous variables from the 2013 VCAR exam. In an experiment, it is essential to control for extraneous variables so that A. There is a probability that the results will be obtained by chance. B. A valid conclusion can be made about the effect of the independent variable on the dependent variable. C. A valid conclusion can be made about the effect of the dependent variable on the independent variable. Or D. The hypothesis is supported and the results for the experiment can be generalized to the broader population. Option A here seems counterintuitive. We would want to make it so that luck did not play a role in the results. And in research, the hypothesis doesn't need to be supported, so we can rule out option D. That leaves B or C. Hopefully from this video you will remember that the independent variable is the one that impacts the dependent variable, so the answer to this question will be B. Alrighty, a recap of all that is below this video. Next up, we're looking at different types of extraneous and confounding variables. Keep working hard and have a psychedelic day.